old were you when you first walked through the doors at the gym?
I think the first time I walked through the doors of the gym was when I was 10 years old. I went into the Fitzroy Lodge Amateur Boxing Club in Lambeth, which is no more than a mile from here. I never looked back.
And we have a brand new WBA, WBC Cruiserweight Champion of the world. His name is David Haye.
Did you want to be a fighter, or did you just end up there?
I always wanted to be a fighter. If you'd asked me what I wanted to do when I was 3 years old, I would have said I'm going to be heavyweight champion of the world. I'd have said it with the same conviction I set today. And it was a long time ago. But I did what I've had to do in the amateurs and in the pros. And it seems like my ultimate dream is
getting closer and closer.
Getting close. I can taste it.
What about your first fight? You were 11 years of age. Where was it, Dave?
It was in the gym at the Fitzroy Lodge. It was a club show. And I fought another lad who was having his first fight, and lasted 12 seconds. I ran straight out there, hit him on the chops, legs went, a little flurry, and the referee stopped it.
When did the other kids start to catch up with you, size and power?
It was when I was about 15, 16. I had to start fighting seniors. I had to really start fighting guys who were a lot older than myself, because guys at my age wouldn't want to fight me. Or the coaches wouldn't want to put them in the ring with me.
Wouldn't want to risk them going in with you.
So I was sparring with professionals when I was 14, 15 years of age. And well-renowned professionals who were champions, European level champions. And I'm pushing these guys at the age of 14. That doesn't happen.
No.
I think the only time I've heard that happen was with Nassim Hamid. Is the only other guy I can think of was doing that
at 15 and doing it to pros.
Yeah, exactly. So,
yeah. When did it start to hurt, Dave? When did you realise? When did it start to hurt? When did you realise, hold on a minute, I've got to be a bit careful here. This is dangerous. If I don't keep my hands up, I'm going to get on the chin.
I think it was when I really started fighting internationally, fighting guys, these Russians, these big, strong men who didn't care about reputation, who didn't care about what you look like, how big your muscles were, what you'd done. They were there to knock you out, and they were in great shape. They were the best.
But you
Russia
like
at the time.
This is that contradiction, is that you actually like that, and you like the idea. This is a real test today.
Yeah.
This is a real problem.
Yeah.
The good thing about those internationals is you're getting experience.
Yeah.
You're boxing 3 guys or 2 guys or 4 guys in a week.
Yeah. In
Helsinki or somewhere, and you're learning. I think that's invaluable. I think those internationals are invaluable, man.
People really do underrate that. A lot of people are in a rush to turn professional, and I definitely feel without that international pedigree as an amateur, fighting the top guys from around the world, you're handicapping yourself when it comes to when you move to the top level as a professional.
How many did you have? How many amateur international bouts do you think you had?
I think I had around
the worlds, the Commonwealths.
Around about 50, I think. International. It's not as much as other guys. I hear about these Cuban guys having 300 odd.
Sure.
But it was enough for me to learn my craft, learn my trade. And I think without those 50 international fights, I definitely wouldn't be the man I am today.
Now the first major tournament you go to overseas is that one in Houston, World Championships, 1999. You're at light heavyweight.
Light heavyweight, yeah.
I thought it was a bit of a bittersweet experience, really, because you lost to the eventual champion. But personally, I was there. I thought you could have beaten him.
It was one of those things. I had a fight in my first fight against a guy from Ukraine.
Yeah, good fight.
A tough, strong lad, as you normally get from Ukraine. So I beat him pretty easily on points. In the second fight, I was fighting the American favourite, Michael Sims. Who's been around, done his thing. He's a good, recognised fighter. I watched his first fight, and what I saw was a slick southpaw. He came out there, done his thing, and I'm thinking he's not that great. It just didn't look that natural.
It didn't look great. I agree with you.
I turn up there in my second prelim fight. Getting there, in my mind I'm running through
looking past him,
thinking, okay, I've dealt with southpaws, never really had a problem with southpaws, I'll be able to get this guy out of the way. He fights me orthodox, and it's only until halfway through the first round I was like, I just didn't feel right, and then I realised, okay, he's actually an orthodox fighter.
And then you're chasing points.
And then I'm down a couple of points, I'm trying to claw him back.
What about the following year, the 2000 Olympics? You got one bite of the cherry, you didn't get to, you didn't go. That must have hurt. He must have tempted you to turn pro. You must have felt let down.
Yeah, for sure. There was 4 qualifying tournaments, and what was told to me was, Courtney Fry would get the first 2 cracks, as he was the guy with the experience. I thought, fair enough.
That's standard, yeah.
And I'd get the second 2 cracks. I thought, okay, he went to the first 2, he lost.
You'd beaten him at this stage.
I
knocked
him out in 2 rounds. Yeah. I knocked him out in 2 rounds, and but then again, I lost after that fight as well. So it was about who was better at that present moment in time. So we both went into the multi-nations. They wanted to clear the situation up, so they put all the top light heavyweights and to have a box off as such, which I thought was a real
coming
good idea.
down this side of the channels.
Exactly, we're both on opposite sides of the draw.
Yeah.
So whoever wins that should go. How it happened, we both got to the finals, and he pulled out of the finals. So I thought, okay.
So you've got to fancy then you're in the driving seat.
Yeah. So out of the 4 tournaments, I'd at least expect to get 50% of the 50%. So I get the third fight. The third bite of the cherry, the third tournament. I fight Fragomeni, a guy I beat not long ago as a professional. He was the current heavyweight European champion.
At that stage?
At that stage, he was a good, strong fighter. I thought I beat him pretty easily. I think you got to look on YouTube at that fight.
When did you find out you didn't get the shot? When did you find out it was going to be Courtney again?
I think it was there and then. I think after that fight, they said they thought I won the fight. And they said, I think we were saying Courtney Price to the 4th one, even though he had quite common knowledge. He had a really bad back.
But you stayed amateur then. You still didn't turn pro then.
Yeah, definitely. I just didn't feel it was the right time.
They say it's a statue. Wait, what's going to happen?
That's not a statue.
That's what they say. I don't think it is either. So you stayed for the Worlds in 2001, Belfast. You come through all those prelim fights. You get in the ring in the final, and you basically knock the Cuban out. But he stands up.
Yeah, he's a tough cookie. He really was. I had a hard road to the final, but a better man won on the night. If I'd have done things differently, maybe I'd have had to pull it off. But it wasn't meant to be. I was always meant. I was a runner-up. I always wanted to be the world champion. As an amateur, I came 1 position short of that. I got a silver medal, but that just gave me that extra driving force to get. All I needed to do is get that 1 more to be recognised as the best in the world, and I've done that as a professional.
But then there was the Commonwealth Games the year after. There was a lot of confusion, Shannon. They just tell us exactly what happened.
No, the whole thing with the Commonwealth Games was it was all about. It was never about. I wanted to be the Commonwealth champion because there was nobody in the Commonwealth at my weight at heavyweight who was ranked in the top 15 in the world.
Sure.
I was ranked number 2. There's no one in the top 15, so it's a matter of me going through there, knocking everyone out, doing it pretty comfortably, and just getting a bit of press, and then using that as a springboard to turn professional.
Pro,
but what happened was I had the first fight against a guy from Pakistan. Easy fight. Went out there, bish bash bosh, bam 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 bam. Hold up. Tore my bicep in the process. Gutted. So obviously went to London to see my
specialist.
My specialist. He had all the MRI scans and whatnot, and he advised that if I carry on fighting with it, it could possibly tear and completely, and that's not a good injury a boxer wants to get. So I thought, okay, pull out the tournament. But the way I went about it is I didn't go to the
channels.
I didn't through the right channel. I did what I wanted to do.
So you regret maybe the way you went about it? What do you regret?
Not really, because the result would have been the same. I would have boxed because
not boxed.
Just not went through the right channels. But that was always going to be my last tournament anyway.
You turn pro, it's all going very swimmingly. You're hitting people on the chin, they're dropping like they're meant to drop.
Yeah. Dropping comfortably. Had 10 of those, bar one of them is a little guy from the Congo, Lengamot, who didn't read the script and wanted to try and mess up my plans. And he knocked me down in, I think, the 2nd round, buzzed me badly, got up and managed to get a victory. But yeah, pretty much 10 fights, 10 knockouts.
Let's stick with that Mock fight, because it was your reaction once Mock had caught you and he hurt you. I mean, no one denies he hurt you. You talk about that, but it was your reaction about you grabbed hold of him, you took him down, you held on to him. It was that kind of not instinct. It was the idea that you knew what to do. And I reckon that you gained that through all those international fights.
Definitely. There's obviously been times in the amateurs where you're fighting some tough, big, strong guy who's a champion in his country. he's going to come to win. He's
They
going
clip you on the jaw.
Clip you on the jaw, and you've got to find a way to get through it.
Yeah.
And in the amateurs, they stop fights pretty easy, so you've got to disguise the fact that you're hurt sometimes. Do whatever you've got to do to get through the rounds. Only 2 minutes. You can hold on. You can. There's little tricks you can do to kill the clock, you know, and all those had to come into play in that. It was only my fourth professional fight.
Yeah, of course. Forget that.
It was a toughie, but that's what's made me the man I am today. Because, for instance, I got put down against Jean-Marc Mormec. Everyone's heard his name already. Jean-Marc Mormec, and I had to use them the same as survival.
Once you got up from there,
I had to kill the clock. I realised the round's lost. I've lost it 10-8. So, you know, I could stand there, go toe-to-toe with him, and I was still lost 10-8. So you might as well use the rest of the round, kill the clock, get through it, you get as hit as little as possible, and regroup and come back for a strong...
Well, that broke Mormec's heart, I think, the fact he dropped you. You sort of got the idea that he dropped you, and then for him it was like mission accomplished. That's it. I've worn him out, I've dropped him, he don't fancy it, it's all over now, and suddenly he doesn't hit you for 2 rounds.
Yeah, because there was a word around the campfire before that fight was, get me into the second part of the fight, and I'm nothing left. You know, obviously people looked at the Carl Thompson fight in my 11th fight, and thought, okay, you know, obviously he's doing the same thing now. 10 fights on, he was doing it, which is obviously
you'll no improvement.
Yeah, exactly. But you know, he tried it and it didn't work. The same tactics was you tried to use by Fragomeni. That didn't work.
That didn't work. So how did it work then, and why did it work in your 11th fight against that veteran Carl Thompson? Why did it work? Why did it work then?
Physically and mentally, I wasn't ready.
All right.
Physically and mentally, I wasn't ready for the type of fight that.
When did you realise? When did you realise? At what point in that fight did you realise I'm not big enough, strong enough, old enough for this shit?
It wasn't until the fight was finished that I realised that. During the fight, I just thought I was just one of those things. I was hurt. You know, he put me down. So was he. But you don't really feel that. It's all about what's happening to me. And even right before the fight was stopped, I remember thinking, I had a little smug look on my face, thinking, I'm going to get you sooner or later, I'm going to knock you out in a minute. You might be having a good time. You might be having a good time now, but
don't worry,
next thing you know,
I've 8 more rounds.
Yeah, next time the towel comes in, I'm like, hold on, I can't win this fight. The fight's finished, I've lost. It's like, how could this happen? This isn't in the script.